Good afternoon, live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, our India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chairs high-level meeting at his New Delhi residence with External Affairs Minister, Defence Minister, National Security Advisor, Chief of Defence Staff and Chiefs of 3 armed forces. Signs of normalcy in areas along India-Pakistan border. In Srinagar, life returns to normal at Lal Chowk and Dal Lake. Punch market reopens after 4 days closure. Normalcy returns in Riyasi and Jaisalmer. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurates BrahMos Aerospace Integration Testing Facility in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. Hails India's advances in defence production. At least 21 passengers killed as bus skids off a cliff in Sri Lanka, many injured. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a high-level meeting at his residence in Delhi today. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, NSA Ajit Doval, CDS General Anil Chauhan and Chiefs of 3 services were in attendance. And DD India correspondent Akshay Dongare joins us live from New Delhi. Akshay, what details do we have on Prime Minister's meeting?
Well, it was an extensive meeting, Shubhendu. It went on for over 2 hours, which gives us the gravity of situation as far as the discussions are concerned. Ever since the exchanges have stopped, what we are witnessing at this point is all-out preparedness by the Indian Armed Forces to counter any kind of tension in the region, as well as any kind of provocation that can be there. So every possibility is being taken into account. And when it comes to the Indian Armed Forces, they continue to monitor the situation as far as the peace process is concerned, especially providing security to the people of Jammu and Kashmir, as well as all the states and districts that are bordering with Pakistan on the western borders as well as the northern borders. Prime Minister has taken a stock of situation as well. He has spoken with the Defence Minister, the National Security Advisor, all the top officials of the Defence Ministry, as well as the External Affairs Ministry, and all the 3 wings of the Indian Armed Forces were present as far as that meeting is concerned, which had been called not only to give all the details about everything that has transpired in the last 72 hours, but also the process through which India will be able to move ahead as far as our operations are concerned. Clearly, the war against terror is going to continue. India has already claimed that any kind of act of terror will be considered an act of war, and India will stand by it. While we have already given this dire warning to Pakistan and to the rest of the world as well, that India is going to change its strategy, or rather it has changed its strategy as far as terror is concerned, and it will be considered a hostile act by an adversary,
right,
like it is done in a war-like situation.
Right, but for now, Akshay, what does the situation look like after cessation of military action by both sides?
Well, there were reports coming in that there were certain precautionary measures that were taken all throughout the night. Blackouts were observed in several of the districts, especially that were bordering with Pakistan in the western borders, on the international border, as well as on the line of control. Every precautionary measure will be observed for the next few days at least, where all of these measures that have been taken, that include air raid sirens, mock drills by people to ensure that they remain safe every time there is an air raid siren, because we have gone through that process where people were being targeted, where civilians were being targeted, where the armed forces were also on target of terrorists as well as the Pakistani armed forces. But ever since they have pleaded, that the DGMO level officers have pleaded to the Indian Army to stop the hostilities. India had come to an agreement that the country also doesn't want war or any harm to Pakistani civilians. But the situation is going to be monitored for the next few days at least on high alert. The forces remain on high alert, as well as every preparation that has to be done in accordance to a warlike situation that will also be maintained to ensure the safety of the country.
Akshay, thank you for those updates. Earlier on Saturday evening, India and Pakistan agreed on an understanding on stoppage of all firing and military action. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said Director General of Military Operations of Pakistan called the Indian counterpart at 15:35 hours IST on Saturday. It was agreed between them that both sides would stop all firing and military action on land and in the air and sea with effect from 1700 hours Indian Standard Time on Saturday. Instructions were given on both sides to give effect to the understanding. The Director Generals of Military Operations will talk again on the 12th of May at 1200 hours. Meanwhile, the situation along the border areas of India remain normal today, a day after agreement of understanding was reached between India and Pakistan. In Jammu and Kashmir, no drones, firing or shelling activity were reported during the intervening night of May 10th and 11th. Calm prevailed on the borders of the Union Territory, especially along the line of control in Poonch and Rajouri. As normalcy returns to Jammu, Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board has pitched in to help devotees. The board has arranged for free accommodation facilities for devotees in Katra. Shrine Board administration is providing free lodging for pilgrims at Ashirwad Bhavan, Katra, with a capacity of about 550 beds. Life is slowly returning to normal in Kashmir as well. Areas around Dal Lake, markets have started to open at Lal Chowk. DD India correspondent Vishal Baristo brings us more from Srinagar.
This is Sunday morning and I'm here at Lal Chowk in Srinagar. Life is slowly coming back to normal. There has been a peaceful last night and no aggression from the other side of the border. As you can see, today is Sunday, people have come out to shop. This is Sunday Bazaar. Let's talk to some of the people here, some of the localites of Srinagar, and find out how do they feel. I have a shop owner. कैसी रही आपकी रात और कैसा लग रहा है कि जिंदगी अब नॉर्मल हो रही है?
जंग तो एक तबाही है। जंग से कोई मकसद नहीं निकलता है। जो ऐसे भाईचारा है हमें पार से भी यहाँ से वही हमें रखना है। आपस में ये जंग वंग नहीं होना चाहिए। कल से सारा माहौल ठीक हो गया। इन्होंने बातचीत आपस में की तो वही ठीक हुआ। जंग सही चीज़ नहीं है।
So he said that he is feeling better now. Let's talk to some more people. कैसा लग रहा है आप? चीज़ें पहले से बेहतर हुई है? ठीक लग रहा है आपको? कहाँ से आप?
पंजाब से।
पंजाब से क्या करते हैं?
इधर सोफे का काम करते हैं।
ओके। तो कल रात चैन से सोए आप?
हाँ जी ठीक है, मगर थोड़ा बहुत हल्ला होता है।
अभी ठीक है?
अभी ठीक है, बढ़िया।
So there you heard from the locals, from the people who are working here. They are from a different state. But as you can see, life is slowly coming back to normal and slowly the markets would be opening. It has already started and people can heave a sigh of relief. With cameraman Mohit Uike from Lal Chowk in Srinagar, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
The overall security situation across India's western border states remains stable through the night of May 10th and 11th, with no reported incidents of fire, enemy contact or hostile movement. In Punjab, several districts including Firozpur and Pathankot returned to normalcy, while red alert continues in Amritsar district, with Deputy Commissioner urging residents to remain indoors and avoid windows. Power supply has been restored for public convenience. In Rajasthan, no hostile movement or airspace violations were detected overnight. The state's security establishment remains on alert. Gujarat also reported a normal situation across Run of Kutch, coastal areas and aerospace. State headquarters and district administrations conducted a review meeting to assess and reinforce preparedness. Dauke village in Amritsar district of Punjab is surrounded by Pakistan on 3 sides, while only a narrow road connects this village to the rest of the country. After the agreement between India and Pakistan at the DGMO level, our colleague Gurmeet Singh inspected this village located near the international border.
We are reporting from a village which is surrounded on 3 sides by Pakistan. The very first visual I would like to show you. Over here, this is the residential area of this village. Just behind it is Pakistan, international border of India and Pakistan. And the second visual that I would like to show you, few people of this village, they are huddling just behind the tree, just under the tree, and discussing the local issues with a barbed wire fence stretching out behind them, beyond which lay Pakistan. On the right side also, the visuals that we cannot show you due to the security reasons, the international border of Pakistan and India exist on the right side. So third visual that I would like to show you is of the road, because that is just behind me. You can see the fields, and behind this is a road that connects the whole country with this village. So you can understand the importance of this village, and I would like to show you the youth of this village, which is enjoying at this point in time just 150 meters away from the international border, from the fencing of India-Pakistan border. So the people over here, the people of this village, are saying that they are feeling quite secure and the situation is quite calm and peaceful at this point in time. Meanwhile, if we talk about rest of the Punjab, starting from Amritsar to Taran, Gurdaspur, Firozpur, Fazilka, the situation is quite peaceful at this point in time. And the local administration is also appealing the people to not to believe on the misinformation that is being spread on the social media. Only official sources, only the official information that is being given should be trusted upon. Reporting from the international border of village Dauke, Amritsar, with camera person Sumit Dhiman, this is Gurmeet Singh for DD India.
Important signs of normalcy returning. Moving on, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated the BrahMos Aerospace Integration and Testing Facility on Sunday. The event was held in Uttar Pradesh's Lucknow city, was also attended by State's Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. Addressing the event via video conferencing, the minister said Indian forces launched Operation Sindoor that was aimed at dismantling terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan and never targeted the civilians.
भारतीय सेनाओं ने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर को पाकिस्तान में मौजूद आतंकी ढांचा ढहाने के उद्देश्य से लॉन्च किया था। हमने उनके आम नागरिकों को कभी निशाना नहीं बनाया था, मगर पाकिस्तान ने न केवल भारत के नागरिक इलाकों को निशाना बनाया, बल्कि मंदिर, गुरुद्वारा, गिरजाघर पर भी हमले करने का प्रयास किया। भारतीय सेना ने शौर्य और पराक्रम के साथ साथ संयम का भी परिचय देते हुए पाकिस्तान के अन्य ठिकानों पर भी प्रहार करके करारा जवाब दिया है। हमने केवल सीमा से सटे चयन ठिकानों पर ही नहीं कार्रवाई की, बल्कि भारत की सेनाओं की धमक उस रावलपिंडी तक सुनी गई जहां पाकिस्तानी फौज का हेडक्वार्टर मौजूद है।
Rajnath Singh also said BrahMos facility will strengthen India's efforts towards self-reliance in the defence sector.
हमारा सपना है कि उत्तर प्रदेश दुनिया के टॉप डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन और एक्सपोर्ट डेस्टिनेशन के रूप में जाना जाए। आज जो ब्रह्मोस फैसिलिटी शुरू हो रही है, मैं समझता हूं वह यूपी डिफेंस कॉरिडोर का एक गौरव होगा। यह सिर्फ उत्तर प्रदेश का ही नहीं, बल्कि देश का सबसे बड़ा ब्रह्मोस इंटीग्रेशन एंड टेस्टिंग फैसिलिटी सेंटर है। यह रक्षा क्षेत्र में भारत की आत्मनिर्भरता के प्रयास को भी मजबूती प्रदान करेगा।
Still to come on DD India Live. Stage is set for Pope Leo's first Sunday blessing and address to a crowd at St. Peter's Square in the Vatican. Russia's President Putin calls for direct talks with Ukraine. Zelensky says Ukraine is ready to meet Putin for ceasefire talks.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. A tragic bus accident in Ganandela area of Sri Lanka's Kotmale early on Sunday morning has claimed lives of 21 people and left over 35 injured. The bus carrying more than 50 passengers was en route from Katargama to Kurungala when it skidded off a rain-slaked winding road. Initial police findings suggest speeding and dangerous road conditions as possible causes. Investigators are also examining potential mechanical failure or driver negligence. Rescue efforts by police, emergency responders and villagers continued for hours. The Road Development Authority will assess the site for safety lapses. The incident is among the deadliest in Sri Lanka in recent months, sparking renewed calls for tighter transport safety regulations. Albania is holding parliamentary elections today with Prime Minister Edi Rama seeking an unprecedented fourth term in office. Rama, leading the Socialist Party since 2013, is aiming for an historic win against rival and former Prime Minister Sali Berisha of the Democratic Party. Rama's campaign was dominated by his promise to join the European Union by the end of the decade, with polls showing Rama with the commanding lead over Berisha, who has been weakened by graft charges. Polling stations opened at 7 a.m. and will close at 7 p.m. local time. Results are expected on Monday. Russian President Vladimir Putin is calling for direct peace talks with Ukraine, proposing a high-stakes summit in Istanbul on May 15th. The announcement marks the most serious signal of diplomacy since talks broke down more than 2 years ago. But with deep mistrust on both sides and a fresh push from the European leaders for an immediate ceasefire, the question remains, will this be a genuine step towards peace? Here's more.
Russian President Vladimir Putin on Sunday proposed holding direct talks with Ukraine in Istanbul on May 15. The Kremlin's surprise offer signals what could be the most serious push for diplomacy since negotiations collapsed over 2 years ago.
Let me remind you, it was not us who walked away from talks in 2022. It was Ukraine. Still, despite everything, we are ready to resume direct negotiations without any preconditions.
Putin said the goal is not just a temporary ceasefire, but a lasting peace, one that, in his words, addresses the root causes of the conflict. He plans to speak with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to finalize details for the Istanbul summit. US President Donald Trump weighed in, posting on social media, a potentially great day for Russia and Ukraine. Trump added he would continue to work with both sides to help bring the conflict to an end. This bold proposal comes just hours after European leaders, including UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and French President Emmanuel Macron, visited Kiev, urging Moscow to accept an immediate 30-day unconditional ceasefire. But the Russian president pushed back, accusing Ukraine of ignoring 3 recent ceasefire proposals, a month-long halt to attacks on energy infrastructure, an Easter truce, and a symbolic pause during World War II commemorations. Ukraine, in turn, has consistently denied those claims. Moscow has similarly alleged violations by Kiev. With both sides trading blame and accusations, the stage is now set for a critical showdown, diplomacy versus distrust. May 15th could mark a critical moment for Eastern Europe, a chance for peace, or yet another missed opportunity. Bureau Report, DD India.
Iran will hold a fourth round of indirect nuclear talks with United States on Sunday in Oman. The fourth round of negotiations, initially scheduled for May 3rd in Rome, was postponed due to logistical reasons. US President Donald Trump has threatened to bomb Iran if no agreement is reached with his administration to resolve the long-standing dispute. He withdrew the US from 2015 nuclear deal between Iran and the world powers. Western countries say Iran's nuclear program, which Tehran accelerated after America walked out from the now moribund 2015 accord, is geared towards producing weapons, whereas Iran insists it's purely for civilian purposes. Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff plans to attend the talks in Oman. Witkoff in an interview said Iranians had stated that they do not want a nuclear weapon and that United States will take them at their word on this point. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said on Saturday, if United States' goal is to deprive Iran of its nuclear rights, Tehran will never back down over those rights. Araghchi was speaking in Doha as he planned visit to Qatar and Saudi Arabia on Saturday, in line with the continuous consultations with neighboring countries to address their concerns and mutual interests about nuclear issue. Iran has repeatedly said its right to enrich uranium is non-negotiable and has ruled out a zero enrichment demand by some US officials. US President Donald Trump is heading to Saudi Arabia, Qatar and UAE on Monday, his first major foreign trip of his second term, focused on billion-dollar deals in defense, AI and energy. 8 years after his glowing orb moment in Riyadh, this historic return is rich in symbolism but fraught with unresolved crises. From Gaza conflict and Iran's nuclear ambitions to Yemen's unrest, Trump faces a region in turmoil. In Riyadh, Trump will meet the leaders of the 6 Gulf Cooperation Council states, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait and Oman. But one place that is not in the itinerary is Israel, the United States' closest ally in the region. US President Donald Trump hailed talks with China in Switzerland on Saturday, saying the two sides had negotiated a total reset in a friendly but constructive manner. Though he did not elaborate on the progress, earlier top US and Chinese officials wrapped up the first day of talks in Geneva aimed at diffusing a trade war that threatens to hammer the global economy and plan to resume negotiations on Sunday. Neither side made any statements afterwards about the substance of the discussion, nor signaled any specific progress towards reducing crushing tariffs as meetings at the residence of Switzerland's ambassador to the UN. On the US tariffs, Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba said on Sunday that discussions have gradually come together. He added that Tokyo's relationship with US President Donald Trump is surprisingly good. Ishiba reiterated that he will aim for the elimination of all tariffs. Pope Leo XIV to lead the Regina Coeli prayer from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica on Sunday in a second official public appearance since becoming the leader of the Catholic Church. The prayer is expected to draw thousands of people anxious for a closer look at the modest pontiff, born Robert Francis Prevost, who, before becoming the first US Pope, spent much of his life as a missionary in Peru. On Saturday, Leo prayed before Francis's tomb inside Santa Maria Basilica. The church was a favorite of Francis, and faithful have continued to line up to pay their respects there. The late Pope Francis, who died on April 21st, made surprise visits to Catholic sites near Rome quite frequently. He asked to be buried at St. Mary Major in a simple tomb, decorated only with an inscription of the word Franciscus, his name, in Latin. A mass was celebrated in Peru's Diocese of Callao to honor the newly elected Pope Leo XIV, who once served there as an apostolic administrator. His election has stirred deep emotions, pride among the local clergy, many of whom worked closely with him during his time in the country. No parish priest in Callao wanted to miss the mass, held in tribute of Pope Leo, who guided the diocese from 2020 to 2021, while it awaited a new bishop. Bishop Barrera, who succeeded him, called his election a caress from God to Peru against corruption and violence. The white smoke announcing his papacy caught many by surprise, including Bishop Barrera, who rushed to a nearby church to watch the announcement online. Vicar Carlos Lopez, who worked with Pope Leo in Chicaleo, recalled their time together with emotions, describing him as deeply connected to parishioners and beloved by the faithful. Let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Business is booming at Japan's Don Quixote discount stores, driven by tourist frenzy, inflation and a weak yen. Known for chaotic aisles and quirky items, the chain has become a must-visit for visitors seeking souvenirs and deals. Sales are now nearly 1.7 times higher than pre-pandemic levels, with shoppers describing the experience as a fun treasure hunt. The International Day of Argan Tree, celebrated on Saturday, highlights the tree's ecological, cultural and economic significance, particularly in Morocco, where it is native. The argan tree plays a vital role in supporting rural communities, especially women, through cooperatives that produce argan-based goods such as oils and cosmetics. Basel is gearing up to host the 2025 Eurovision Song Contest, with crowds expected to flood the Swiss city from May 12th to 17th. The grand final will be held on May 17th at St. Jacques Arena, which seats about 12,000 fans. Let's turn to sports. Defending champion Iga Swiatek crashed out of the Italian Open after a 6-1, 7-5 loss to American Danielle Collins in the third round. 5 times Grand Slam champion Swiatek went 5-0 down in the opening set before getting on the board to avoid a Basel. Collins showed no mercy, sealing the victory in 1 hour and 44 minutes. The loss could cost Swiatek the world number 2 rankings as her French Open title defense looms. The Polish tennis player has lost 9 matches this year, while she has not reached a clay court final ahead of a bid to retain the French Open title later this month. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan this QR code on your screens and download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.